Daomen Yuyao is a received transmission within the Zhongpai or Middle Pillar lineage founded by a prominent Taoist priest and polymath Li Daochun, though this particular version comes later in time, a collection of essays on inner alchemy compiled by Huang Chang sometime during the Qing dynasty, who traces his lineage back to Li. On screen is Scroll 7 on the Lesser Mandala of Heaven or Microcosmic Orbit, noting the 6 Omens of spiritual awakening. The lineage that this canonical text is transmitted through, Zhongpai, the middle pillar, syncretizes Taoist mysticism with Mahayana Buddhism. To set this up, let's just dive straight into the source text on the 6 Omens. As you listen, perhaps ask, have I experienced anything similar where these signs of initiatory attainment are clicking for me?
然亦必有六种效验，方可停功。
Note that 6 omens will manifest before the work is to be concluded. 六種效驗 is a Taoist term of art that means 6 omens or 6 signs of efficacy, 6 classical indicators of successful internal alchemical cultivation. Here is the first omen it lists.
目有金光，
A golden radiance in the eyes, which is premised on the belief that alchemical cultivation of Jing in your lower dantian refined into Shen in your upper dantian around your third eye and crown chakra area will result in certain physiological indicators, namely bright eyes. The effect of that, though, are stronger psychic visions, stronger foresight, increased skills in clairvoyance, expanded perceptions in terms of sight with that capital S. It's also simply to say that those who are advancing in their spiritual practice will radiate out an inner luminosity because there's Shen in their eyes. Here's the second omen or indicator of spiritual awakening.
鼻有抽搐，
A subtle tingling sensation in the nose. In classical neidan, this is an indicator of the opening of the Ren meridian or receiving vessel. Also, you know the metaphor turning base metal into gold, Jing? It's coded language for alchemical transformation, that whole lead into gold bit. The golden elixir, Jingdan, golden flower, golden gateway, refinement of gold or the transformation process, the phase of change attributed with metal, Jing, is said to produce the symptom of heightened a psychic sense of smell. As my husband would often say about me, I have a dog nose. So far we've covered eyes, nose, now what?
耳有风声，
Wind stirring in the ears. This refers to heightened auditory sensitivity. You are able to pick up on really subtle environmental cues. Clairaudience is a commonly cited byproduct of meditation or qi cultivation practice. You have this supernal sense of hearing. Wind stirring in the ears also refers to a physiological phenomenon cultivators experience. Now for the fourth.
脑后有救鸣，
Hearing the call of the condor at the crown of your head. So many classical literary references here in this line. If we want to nerd out on this one line, it would take up its own video lecture. Zhou, in classical Chinese, per the Shuowenjiezi, a Han Dynasty dictionary or glossary of terms, describes this mythical blackbird or mysterious bird from warm and hot climates that displays all 5 colors of the 5 elements in its feathers. In short, this line is telling us that after dedicated spiritual cultivation and meditation practice, something in the back of your head flies open and rises, and it's so dramatic that it creates audiovisual perceptions within. It's often said in deep, dedicated meditation practice, you'll progress to a milestone where you feel a lifting sensation at the back of your head. Here, in the Taoist context, the condor symbolizes your personal will aligning with heaven's will. So it's a sign that you're on the right track. Next up, Omen 5 of spiritual awakening.
丹田有火珠之药，
Luminescence of fire pearls in the dantian. This particular phenomenon has generated quite a bit of discourse in so many different Eastern traditions, from Taoism, Qigong, martial arts to like Falun Gong. But let's just keep going because I don't want to speak out of turn. In previous videos, we've already talked about the three dantian, the three internal fields that correspond with the three realms of the cosmos. Spiritual cultivation work of any tradition, according to this theory, when done right, strengthens these internal fields, which in turn strengthens your capabilities in so many incredible ways. Strong internal fields feel like each of these three realms within you have their own center of gravity. And so it almost feels like a pulsating orb at all three levels. It feels electrically charged in triplicity, each level having its own magnetic force field and yet collaborating in harmony. And finally, the sixth omen of spiritual awakening.
腹中有震雷之声
The rumble of thunder in the abdomen. This reference to a thunderous rumbling in the abdomen is an indicator of harmonizing between fire and water. It's the activation of both yin and yang. That activation is the sensation of awakening. Remember in the previous video when we talked about alchemy being the integration of polarities? So this awakening sensation is the sign that you are finally ready for the integration phase because the polarities have been activated and are now standing at the ready for alchemical integration. This sixth omen is also somewhat reminiscent of the concept of Kundalini, that something rumbles awake at the base and rises upward through that central pillar. Like expressions of Kundalini, it's an indicator of the unleashing of a potent inner power, and the physiological sensation experienced, as described in this text, is a thunderous rumbling in the tummy or lower dantian. So those are the six omens that confirm or corroborate spiritual awakening. But how does one even get to that point? Well, there are many ways. However, I've put together an online course that presents a really good and reliable way, a systematic, ethically minded practice of the Mandalas of Heaven based on primary source text, safeguarded within the framework of a doctrine called the Way of Heaven. I've configured a systematic approach that can be universally integrative, adaptable into any spiritual tradition, supporting whatever progress you want to make along your own chosen path. And it is very much a cultivation method that will deepen your divinatory and psychic connection to the I Ching mandala or cosmic orbital cycle of changes. An iconographic representation of the mandala of heaven, accounting for the 5 phases of dynamic change in the 3 realms across the 4 directions, is the I Ching mandala of change, a spirit map of the cosmos, an alchemical integration of the 8 trigrams, which is why the I Ching is such a seminal text in Taoist mysticism. I Ching divination is a form of mandala of heaven cultivation, a way, or the Tao, of integrating inner and outer cycles of change. My approach is to connect you directly with source material, primary sources, divine source, and me personally stay out of the picture as much as possible. Maybe I'm here for the purposes of being an interpreter or tour guide, but that's it. I want you to learn how to discover the strength and capabilities within yourself on your own, rather than rely on somebody else giving you a Dumbo's feather. Although this course offering is an independent study at your own pace, I'll be accessible by email so you won't be completely on your own. A key feature of this course is the Q&A. Send me your questions and keep an eye on the password-protected FAQs page. Questions will get answered either as a video response or written out, but please be patient with me. I work full-time as a corporate attorney, have a family to take care of, and so I wait to answer questions in batches, not one at a time as they come in. For the course offering, you're getting the received text in classical Chinese plus my direct translations and annotations. That way you can build your own interpretation and understanding of the mandalas. The 6 omens we talk about here become tangible reference points points within the inner alchemical cultivation framework. If you want a grounded, integrative, ethics-guided way to engage with Taoist inner alchemy, you'll find that path laid out in this course. For details and enrollment information, please check the video description box. I guess we should probably talk about what is spiritual awakening. To be clear, spiritual awakening isn't the end of your journey. Oh, no, my friend. It indicates the beginning of your journey. The Six Omens signify that you are spiritually ready to start engaging with the real work. Awakening is not achieving a destination. It is realizing what your destination is. It is a sign of readiness for the actual work you've got to do, which in the framework of the mandala's cultivation is the greater mandala attainment. Awakening is coming to a clear understanding of how you want to get to where you want to go. It's also the sign that you've cultivated sufficient personal power to achieve whatever it is you seek to achieve. So it isn't just now knowing where it is you want to go and how to get there, but it's also now having actualized or manifested within all the powers and access to resources or tools you will need to achieve it. In esoteric Buddhism, at least of the Mahayana variety, you'll often hear about the six supernatural or six divine powers, six transcendental skills, or knowledge attained as a result of meditation practice. For those who become spiritually awakened, these are the six skills they need to pass through that mysterious gate.
天眼通、天耳通、他心通、宿命通、神足通、漏尽通.
Let's cover each one in turn. You'll see that there's a slight difference between the Taoist expression we previously covered and Buddhist expression listed here of what's happening as we awaken. The first power, divine sight. A direct translation of that is something like eye of heaven. It means a supernal degree of wisdom and a heightened perception of sight. It's clairvoyance, and it's also mediumship because it's the ability to see, perceive spirits and entities from every realm. The second power is hearing with the ear of heaven. For easy translation, I liken it to clairaudience. This power is best exemplified in Kuan Yin, the bodhisattva of mercy and compassion, hearing every sound of the world, and therefore there's also the implication of full cognition of the suffering in this world. Maybe that one's not that great of a power. I kid. Third power, mind reading, telepathy, claircognizance. It's knowing other people's thoughts and feelings. In a way, it's radical empathy. The fourth power attained after one has spiritually awakened, holistic understanding of karma. This is knowing past lives because you can see the entire space-time continuum that is karma, and therefore implied herein is also the ability to know future fates and see people's destinies. Fifth power, the ability to journey across the astral plane, shamanic journeying in a manner of speaking. This is the ability to traverse all realms in the 10 directions. But this power also relates to walking on water, cloaking or invisibility, multiplying the body so you can be in many different places at the same time. It's gaining what appears to be superhuman control over one's physical body and physical senses. The sixth power is slightly different in tone from the first five. The first five really seem to be speaking to consciousness, whereas the sixth is about the resulting attainment of the aggregate five. And that is how to destroy all defilements and exorcise or consecrate all impurities. So yes, the sixth power is also a state of consciousness. It refers to having the power to eliminate all afflictions and ailments and thus achieving ultimate liberation of mind, body, and spirit. The six omens of spiritual awakening as listed in the fundamentals of Taoist inner alchemy don't necessarily line up with the six powers that are the incidental attainments in devout Buddhist meditation practice, but we do see some interesting parallels. 1 and 2 are easy one-to-one parallels. The next four in each column, well, in Taoist alchemy, it seems to get a bit more practical, describing how awakening registers in your body and internal energy system, whereas in Buddhism, we're describing the expanded capacities of consciousness. That fourth one, the Taoist expression, is the physiological and technical process that somewhat correlates with the Buddhist expression of what's happening, astral journeying, altered states of consciousness. Flaming pearls in the three dantian internal fields is the physiological sensation of defilements having been purified. Thunder in the abdomen is the sensation of being able to convert your qi into psychic energy. In both Buddhism and Taoism, there is recognition that some people seem to be born, tiancai, with some of these abilities that I listed. The explanation given is that they practiced forms of spiritual cultivation in past lives, and so these abilities carry over into their present life. And so if you were born experiencing any of these omens or with these powers, it's because this life is going to be about continuing where you left off in a past life. I want to take a quick detour into a tangent, but I promise you it's really, really relevant. In Li Daochun's writings and teachings, that's the founder of the Middle Pillar lineage, a school of Taoist inner alchemy, he emphasizes the importance of a mysterious feminine, one who endows the practitioner with esoteric wisdom, spiritual accomplishment, and helps to remove karmic obstacles. You cultivate a reunion or reconnection with a feminine embodiment of the Tao, achieved through integration of the polarities that then strengthens an inner central pillar, which is what then connects the three realms, gives you access to all realms. This is the point of spiritual awakening, when the six omens have manifested. Only then are you ready to cross through that threshold, the mysterious gate where your true journey awaits. The mysterious feminine in esoteric Taoism comes straight from the Tao Te Ching, and the Tao being personified as this Wu Zhi Mu, or mother of myriad beings. Please revisit this past video on my channel, The Tao Te Ching and Feminist Metaphysics, because it provides important context for the fundamentals of Taoist inner alchemy. Who is this mysterious feminine referenced in verse 6 of the Tao Te Ching? This mother of the myriad beings that leads the discourse right from the start in verse 1? What is the name of our primordial mother, and who among us know her, can commune with her? The Mandala of Heaven is associated with the mother of the world? Why, yes, at least according to the Tao Te Ching and its preceding sacred text, the I Ching, Book of Changes. And so these canonical references that leave the mysterious feminine or primordial mother open to interpretation inspires a whole bunch of different Taoist lineages over the millennia to claim a specific name or personification of this mysterious feminine, and her leading the practitioner to the mysterious gates, meaning essentially a divine guide to spiritual awakening. Where there's syncretism between Taoism and Buddhism, you might see these. Kundi, or Drunti Pusa, popularized during Tang Dynasty esoteric Buddhism, or Kuan Yin, Guanyin Pusa, feminine embodiment of mercy and compassion, mother of miracles, or Marichi, Moli Zhitian, a divine feminine of astral light, protector guardian in liminal spaces. Within the Taoist pantheon, and also in regional folk traditions, the primordial mother of the Big Dipper, Doumu Yuanjun, is a popular goddess venerated in particular by those who practice thunder rites or thunder magic. Arguably, the most well-known might be Shi Wangmu, the Queen Mother of the West, especially in more shamanic Taoist practices for traversing the different spirit realms of the axis mundi. Zhou Tianxuanyu, the mysterious Lady of the Nine Heavens, is a patron goddess of the talismanic arts, Fu Lu, associated with ritual magic and all aspects of Taoist occult arts. She's a protege of the Queen Mother. That's my drawing of the Lady of the Nine Heavens. The next two I want to show were featured in a tarot deck I illustrated a while back. Mazu is venerated across the South Pacific. She is a shaman priestess who was later deified. In folk practices, spirit mediums often channel Mazu to give prophecies or heal through invocations or speaking in tongues. And Ho-Tu, featured on my Empress card, is the sovereign earth goddess in classical Chinese cosmology. And so there is this implied connection between spiritual awakening, experiencing attainment of these six omens, and communion with a divine, mysterious feminine. Remember my shamanism to Taoism lecture from a while back? Well, let's replay a clip from it because at this point you really should be connecting the dots. The Lady of the Great Mysteries is a bit reminiscent of the mysterious Lady of the Nine Heavens, Taishuanyu, syncretized from the shamanic tradition of the river goddess, revealer of the Luoshu nine-sector magic square, becomes Zhou Tianxuanyu, Lady of the Nine Heavens, a Taoist goddess associated with the esoterica, occult practice, divination, astrology, and inner alchemy. She is the ninth, that is the summation of the 8 primordial nature gods, that is the legacy of Wu shamanism. I want to close on the most important and crucial point to all of this. Cultivation practice can gain you the 6 powers. So what? In Buddhism and in ethical Taoism, there is the very strongly enforced principle that these 6 powers attained do not matter. They should not matter to you. What matters is that transcendental, liberated state of being that attainment of these 6 powers lays the foundation for. You're content now, more fulfilled, you're confident, you're to the extent that you need to be. It almost feels like you have unlimited power to get done whatever you need to get done. Here's the analogy. You've finally learned and acquired the ability to read. The ability to read is only useful to the extent that it advances your greater objective, which is to gain knowledge from books. So you don't run around bragging about how you can read and show off to people like, hey, look at me. I know my ABCs. Come, watch me recite the alphabet. No, once you realize you can read, your focus should be on how you can apply this skill to learning stuff, learning whatever the heck you want. Gaining literacy wasn't the end goal. Knowing how to read was just the skill you needed to get to your true end goal, which is access to knowledge, access to meaning, purpose, and it is that heightened understanding that will set you free. The true objective is liberation. So when you engage with a systematic practice like the Mandalas cultivation work, attaining the 6 omens, acquiring and strengthening these skill sets is not the end-all be-all. It's the most basic of what you're even going to need to get to the front gates of where you actually want to be, and that is the ninefold heaven, 九天. A mysterious dragon tortoise emerged from the river Luo, a messenger sent by a mother goddess, gifts humanity with the Luoshu 9-palace magic square of the mysteries, a universal cosmic decoder for, shall we say, squaring the circle. Through communion with a divine, mysterious feminine of the ninefold heaven, we can come to know and understand the mysteries, and when we are ready, fully integrated and consecrated, the gate of mysteries will appear. No matter what language, what cultural vocabulary you use, these are but the symbols that represent the source code of our very being, a truth and wisdom universal to all of us. But first, let's heal you, mind, body, and spirit, hence the channeling of the Medicine Buddha. The Mandala of Heaven course I'm offering is a systematic Taoist Buddhist pathway with ethical guardrails, guiding you toward spiritual awakening, which you know has come to be by way of the 6 omens, with those 3 inner fields strengthened enough to sustain the middle pillar, and your core so well anchored that there isn't any extraordinary skill you can't accomplish. Such are the 6 legendary powers or omens of spiritual awakening, not according to me, but according to received and transmitted canon on the Taoist side and sutras on the Buddhist side. The Taoist expression describes what's happening in the body, the sensations of energy as you advance. The Buddhist expression describes what's happening to powers of transformative consciousness. Both address the same phenomenon, focused on slightly different aspects of that phenomenon.